Two surfboards walk in to a bar. Only one walks out. Which of these boards is going to win that bar fight? Well, stick around for this live stream to see which of these two beautiful boards you prefer. What is going on, guys? This is Travis. We are back with another Hero's Journey YouTube live stream. And in this Hero's Journey YouTube live stream, we are diving in to two of the sickest new shapes that FireWire has invented, has begun to um, place into the surf culture. And quickly, both of these boards, I think, became instant classics. Now, spoiler alert, I haven't made my decision. I don't own either of these boards, but that board right there, the mashup, I made another video about how the poor thing doesn't get ridden enough. So its days are somewhat numbered, but I do not know what board I'm going to replace it with yet, but I've narrowed it down to these two boards. And I wanted to do a video kind of really comparing the two because even though there is some overlap between the Machadocado and the REVO Max, they're also pretty different. They're pretty different boards. Now, to kick things off, let's first go over the Machadocado. So the Machadocado, let me get my screen sharing going here. This board kind of came out of nowhere. Because I'm Mr. Coolio, I kind of had like a little bit of an in on seeing this when it first came out. And right away, I was definitely pleasantly surprised, but I also didn't really. Where's my mouse? There it is. I didn't really. Why is it so zoomed in? Give me a second here. Oh, because we're living zoomed in life. I didn't really like look at it and think this is the board for me. Um, I thought it looked cool. The outline was cool. It was definitely more of a kind of 1990s-esque shape, and I did like that part about it. But when you first look at it, it was so new in what this thing was that I didn't really know what to think about it. And I'm trying to even remember why I originally tried it or why not. But when I first tried it, first off, I botched the review. I planned on getting all this sweet as surfline footage, and I didn't remember that surfline kind of cancels out the footage if you don't get it soon enough. So a couple days or a week went by and the footage was missing. So the first review, I got one wave, and I at least had to talk about the board and figure out what the board really was. And to me, like right away, I was like, well, this is kind of what short boards have become, but we really haven't gotten like a proper shape that is this yet. And then we finally got it with the Machadocado. And when I say what shortboards have become, it's because it's essentially a 1990s shortboard, but smushed and stretched out in all aspects, in all corners. So I think from the modern perspective of surfboards these days, this makes a lot of sense. But even 5 years ago, this would have definitely been kind of unique and kind of weird. Now, there are boards that have been around like this, but I think FireWire has solidified itself as definitely like a top brand. You just see them anywhere, everywhere. And because the Seaside became such a bestseller, I still think it might be the best selling board potentially of all time. But that thing, like, really re-solidified FireWire as like, don't be sleeping on them. They're sick. And then once they got this helium really figured out, they got the volcanic, they started like pumping out shapes. It was the writing was on the wall that FireWire ain't for play. And I think this board came out at the perfect time because it really just started like this trend. It kind of ignited it and it reignited it because there are boards by Lost and by other companies that the Dad Bod by Dark Arts. They do mimic this, but this really amped it up. And I think Rob Machado as a shaper has really just come into his own and kind of created a timeless board. And he made those last few shapes that were really sick. So for my style of surfing, the Machado boards are like perfect. I really like how he essentially has a ton of foam up here at the nose area. And if you look, it's like pretty much almost as wide as the tail. Um, and it stays relatively thick. The tail on these does get pretty thin, as you can see right here. It does thin out a good bit. Um, Making sure I don't have any weird links on my bookmarks because you guys are gonna dox me. Let's see here. Where is that mouse? There it is. Oh no. Oh wait, I guess we're rocking with bookmarks. Oh wait, bookmarks. Manage bookmarks. It's it's never easy. Let's see. Bookmarks toolbar. I guess we're just rocking with bookmarks. There's all my bookmarks. You can see my bookmarks. What do we got up here? Okay, nothing. Pretty PG-13. Okay, we're good. We're good. So now I lost my train of thought because of the freaking bookmarks. But what's funny is like, let's take this now and like go to the Revo Max. So the Revo Max is pretty much not even that dissimilar from this. That's what's kind of funny is the Revo Max is pretty much like a super thinned out Machado Cado. If you really kind of look at them like closely side by side, it's kind of funny how they don't even there could be different looking boards for sure. And these two boards are if you look at them like this, it's like, well, they kind of look pretty similar, right? I mean, they both have similar nose and tails. They both have a similar outline. They don't even look that different. The Machado Cado essentially to me looks like a beefed up Revo Max. So from the looks of it, you'd be like, all right, well, so Machado Cado, it's a better groveler. It's a little more forgiving of a board just because it's more normal, etc. The Revo Max, it's a little more thinned out, a little more knifey. It's probably going to be a better board for like better waves. So that would be like the first conclusions. But like what really starts to separate these boards apart is the fins. So as a twin fin addict, let's zoom in or zoom out. Let's see. Let's zoom out. Okay. Oh, look at this. Fancy, fancy. Let's look at the twin fin thing. So there we go. Revo Max is a twin fin. Machado Cado is a tri fin. So you get three little fins in this thingy. So here's where we start to really see the differences. And as I just was stating, as a current twin fin addict, this is starting to persuade me towards the Revo Max just because I'm so addicted to the two fish and how a twin fin rides now, or even any twin fin, the twinsman. Um, they all, once you really get used to a twin fin, it really becomes hard to ride a thruster or a quad, even a 2+1, because you feel that center fin so much. Now we got a comment from Surfing in My 30s. What is going on, brother? It is good to see you. Good to see you. He says, Revo looks like the Cymatic. Wonder if it's the same thing. Well, Serbian in my 40s. Let's see. Well, not the plague virus. You know what? It's pretty similar. but they're actually pretty different. I don't know if you've ridden any of these. I've ridden the Sci-Fi, which is kind of like taking the Cymatic and putting a pointy nose on it. Now, this is going to ride a little more, I would think, like the Revo Max, but again, the fins here are you have the 5 fin setup. So even though the shape is kind of more Revo Maxy, the fin setup is going to limit it a little more. Because what makes the Revo Max like truly magical, like it's a unicorn and a fairy tale, is that it also has this middle channel thingy, and it's a spine. It comes up high enough where it's like 1/4 as tall as like a little back fin, and it runs all this way. So you're pretty much getting a good little extra bit of hold without a center fin even on there. So even though it is a twin fin, it kind of does this weird thing where it has a little more hold than the twin fin. And I think that the fins Tomo chose to use with this board somehow make it even better. Because I think if it was maybe like super big upright twins or even like straight up keels, it might not work as good. He has fins called the Max Keels, which to me they're kind of like a blend of both the keel and the upright kind of larger twin fin. And with this spine of sorts, they go great. There's no real need to even experiment too much. I tried, kept coming back to that. So the Cymatic, I think, because it has the 5 fin setup and it doesn't have like the crazy spine in the back, it does have, I think, a little bit of a one, but it's not as intense. Let's see what the internet says. Um, Double bat tail. That's just kind of the actual outline of the tail. Yeah, I don't think it has as much of a spine in that very back center as the because there's a fin slot there too. So I think he does keep it a little more flat there. And to me, this would actually ride a little more like a normal surfboard than a Revo Max. This could even kind of ride more like the Machado Cado, if you get it big enough, because it is definitely not amped up in size at all. I mean, the 510 is, I mean, it's actually pretty perfectly sized. I would love a 510 in this, 36.4 liters. That'd be perfect for me. So, but back to the two, the Machado Cado and the Revo Max. So, what's really funny is in the end, like what really makes these boards quite different is the fin setup. And if you're a twin fin addict like me, are you going to be disappointed with the Machado Cado at the end of the day? Now, I don't think so because the fins Rob made for this do work really well. And I think that like it's good to have different fins in your quiver. You don't like, of course, it's fun to ride the same thing every day, etc. But the magic of surfing and having a quiver is that you have different setups for different days. So I think the Machado Cado, even though it's more of a growler than the Revo Max, when the waves do get bigger, it will hold as well, maybe even better as it starts to really amp up. Now, at the same time, they market the Revo Max as a like kind of a a daily driver and a step up. So they do market it as a board that you're able to step up into big waves with. So that's why I actually think for true daily driver, and then when it gets bigger, the Revo Max is the better option. And then the daily driver, and then when it's actually smaller, the Machado Cado is the better option. But then when you want to like fling the board around and say the waves are the same size, it's chest high, the Revo Max might actually surf a little more maneuverable and even, dare I say, a little easier just because you have this lack of friction of the center fin. Because these last couple of years, as I've gotten more and more used to the twin fin, I've really realized that like we've kind of all been semi lied to about like the twin fin not being potentially the best fin setup. As long as the fins are correct and the board is like truly set up for the twin fins. Because if the board isn't set up for the twin fin, they're usually going to be too far one way or the other, usually a little too far up because there's also the center fin. So the board's not going to ride and be as nice as a proper twin fin where the twin fins are supposed to sit. So I think that the aspect of twin fins in themselves are they're harder to figure out. But once you dial in a twin fin, you realize like it could be the best fin setup, but it does take a little more to dial in. Shout out the sponsor, unofficial sponsor of the stream, Topo Chico, and KT Kombucha, the guava one. The guava one. This is essentially like an IPA. It tastes like an IPA. So with these powers combined, you are sober boy. I mean, not all the time, just trying to replace one addiction with another, and this is the new addiction. But I think in the land of best of all worlds and Richie Rich, you would just own both these boards, obviously. I mean, because they do have enough separation where you would know when to ride one board, when to ride another board, but we're not all Richie Rich. And I just learned that like I've been like paying way more in rent than I should have been for the last like 2 years. And I should be like tens of grands richer right now. So my gears got a bit grinded earlier. So that's why I have the hat on and this on because like I'm going Super Saiyan mode right now. But yeah, that's a whole nother story, and I don't want to cry a river too much like Justin Timberlake. But we have Craig in the house. He says, "Afternoon, Mr. Varga. Afternoon, Craig." Now, Craig is a mashup fanatic. I remember before even having the mashup, Craig, you would talk about. I think you have the 5.9, right? And it's your go-to. Now, give us an update, Craig, on your current setup, and also let me know which one are you going with? Because I have a poll going, and so far the Revo Max is winning, which is funny because and I accidentally called it the Revo Mac, but it's kind of funny. It's like the Revo Mac Daddy. So right now the Revo Mac is winning the poll. So Revo Max is winning. But Craig, what are you? Excuse me. What are you shredding right now? Because we're gonna even take this up an ante. We're gonna watch a little bit of footage of me surfing both of these boards, and we'll let the footage be the driving factor here on which board's actually better. Let's see if I can find my own video. Here it is. Okay, so first we'll check out me riding a little Revo Max. Oh my God, Craig just triggered me with what he just said. Let's see. Oh no, I can't get canceled. We gotta make sure my screen. You guys don't see my prior history of searching on here. Okay, I think we're good. I'm just joking. There's nothing too naughty. Let's just watch this for a second. With my amazing internet, this will actually work really well, probably. And it is working really well. So here's me surfing the Machado Cado. Now let's pause it really quick because Craig triggered me. He said he kept his good old mashup, which is my least favorite Firewire board, and then he said he had to sell his two fish. Craig, we got to get your brain checked. Listen, stop the stream. We got to talk. We got to talk. Why'd you do that? I gotta know why. If money was tight, if times are hard, I could have sent you a check. I mean, I'm spending money like it's going out of style with my freaking rent prices. You gotta rewind time, Craig. You gotta get that two fish back. You have to. All right, stream's back on. So yeah, Craig sold his two fish. I can't believe it. I'm disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. And then he sold his mid six, which I've never ridden, so I don't have as much of an emotional attachment to that. Craig said he asked me if I ended up buying the Cado. Spoiler alert, I haven't, Craig. You guys are supposed to tell me with this poll what to buy. and I'm gonna buy that board with the money I get from the mashup. Craig said his LOL, his teen university fund. Huh, so you're spending your son or daughter's college money on surfboards? Oh, it's going to the teen fund. Oh, that's nice. So Craig, he thinks of others. He's not a selfish person like me who just cares about buying material possessions for himself. He sold his surfboard, 2 surfboards, so his kid wouldn't get kicked out of uni. So what a nice guy. We need to give a hats off to Craig. Now I feel horrible getting all close to the camera and shaming you. Craig's a true hero, guys. Surfing's a selfish sport. You're not helping nobody. It's just selfish. Um, we pretend that we're all like friendly and nice, but in the water. When's the last time you seen someone like smile at you in the water? So we gotta make a change, guys. We gotta make a change. Gotta make a change. I'm getting sick of seeing mopey, grumpy. We gotta make a change. We gotta go back to 2002 or like 1998 where we had Andy, we had Kelly, Bruce. Andy was the only one allowed to, and Sonny were like the only ones allowed to be mopey and grumpy. But like all the other surfers, you got to be like Spicoli. But we got to take the image back of surfers being friendly. 'Cause I talk to beginner surfers now. A lot of them tell me they're like, "Hey, I'm a little intimidated, etc." I mean, I get it. You're in the lineup. You don't want some beginner guy in your way. But like, we're missing the whole point of this. The whole point of this. It's for fun. It's for exercise. It's to be in outside. It's to reset. It's a meditation. We're not on tour. I mean, I'm an influencer. Like, I know you guys want to be influencers like me, but like, we're not that important. We're not special. Um, until I see you guys shredding the Machado Cado like me right here, you're not allowed to mean mug beginners. So let's watch this one. It's like the Machado Cado. It like really when I watch it now and like I got to like really keep it for a while, and I really do like this board. But it's funny how I always remember when I was like, I'm a twin fin addict, that little bit of hold in the Machado Cado is like almost just a little too much. But the twin fin in the Machado Cado, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You have to ride a twin fin, I think, in a real twin fin board, unless it's like a supersized 6'8" and above. Because my Seaside and Beyond was a 7 foot. The Varga board, let's see, give you guys a sneak peek. The Varga board's over there. That board is a 8 foot, and that thing can ride with the twin fin for sure. So I've realized that you can cheat with the twin fin, but you need to find the right twin fins, and it needs to be like a really big board. It can't be a super mega groveler like the sweet potato. When I tried to make the sweet potato, which yes, the review is still getting worked on. It's been almost I feel bad saying this. It's been like a year sitting on this footage. I still might just do a live stream with it because I'm editing these like super long surfboard review videos. It takes a chunk of my soul and just places it somewhere else because it takes so time consuming. Editing these videos is like the most time consuming thing you could ever imagine. So poor me. But that video is gonna be a banger, and I am gonna force myself to edit it, make it real fancy like this, just so it can be a piece of what's the word, green content, like it lives forever. And the clarity will just be perfect. Whereas when you're live streaming, even though right now this does look pretty good, and that was the closest I've gotten to like landing a chop hop like ever. Let's see if I can rewind that because chop hops have been somewhat uh like retired in my arsenal, but every now and then I'll go for one, and I'm impressed I did the one. So Craig says he's got to do what he's got to do. Got to do, mate. I love it. Love it. He's family first. He's family first. We're all ourselves, our egos first. And I got to shout out some sponsors real quick. Like I said, Togo Chico, but another real sponsor is Umbras. No arms. Once you go Umbras, there's no going back. They're sweet. I would definitely check them out. You can watch my Umbras review because once you get the Umbras, you're like, real glasses kind of suck. So let's get back to the video. The Machado Cado. Like, I really want to lock in the quiver. And from the last kind of poll I did on the channel, it seemed to me that most people want me to get the Machado Cado, and I'm almost just down to like let my fans decide that. And what's funny is like a lot of times the waves I'm surfing lately are kind of like this. I mean, they're actually better than what we're watching right now. But is this full screen? It is. But they could be bigger, but they're almost kind of slopier. Like the Revo Max actually doesn't make as much sense for the kind of waves I surf on a day-to-day basis. But when the waves are doing their thing, the Revo Max, there's something like super magical about it. And it's hard to put your finger on it. But it's the combination of it being a twin fin and then having that new shape, the snowboard I call it, where it's pretty symmetrical. Like it's pretty I bet it's almost like a snowboard. Like a twin snowboard, which a twin snowboard, the tail and the nose, it's all symmetrical. And that's what the Reva Max kind of feels like. It feels very like a snowboard. And even the Machado Cado to an extent feels like that, but the Reva Max, it just takes it to the next level. So let's get back to this. We have a question from Wolfgang one. He says, "What Machado Cado dims are you using?" Sorry, you probably said it already. No worries. Well, Wolfgang, I am riding the 510 Machado Cado, and we could look at the dims really quick. I'll do anything for my fans. Anything. Let's see here. I think it's 510 something something 37 liters. Yes, it's 510, 21 5/8, 2 and 11 sixteenths, 37.6. So it's pretty much like my new go-to dims, my new go-to volume is like over is 36 to 38 for like a short board. My old go-to volume was 35.7. The new go-to, I upped it a liter, 37 to 38. My Twinsman's 38, I believe, or 37. That's why the mashup and me don't get along as well because it's 34.4. It's for little guys. I mean, I'm just joking. It's actually for my like size. It's maybe even like a little oversized for me, but I'm too far gone in the land of volume, so there's no going back. So now let's watch the Revo Max. Ooh, Tommy surfs. Or we can watch Tommy Surf's new neutrino video. He's got 9,000 views. It probably is a better video than these. Let's watch the Revo Max. Oh, look, there's me. All right, so we're gonna watch this next. One of my best videos ever. All right, so actually these waves are pretty small too. So let's see how I grovel the Revo Max versus that Machado Cado and figure out the plan there. You know what I'm going to do is have them both kind of on. Is this Surfline footage? Yeah, we can watch that. I'll have them both kind of on and we can go back and forth and really, oh, look, I'm live. Should we do the mirror thing really quick? The infinite mirror. I know, I'm sorry. It's kind of fun to do that every now and then. We'll watch the Machado Cado review at the same time. We can go back and, oh God, I can't. Wait, how do I get out of full screen? Okay, so play. There we go. Okay, so we watched this already. What's funny is I forgot, like, I kind of was super groveling on the Revo Max. Um, but it's funny, you have to work the board more. The Machado Cado does do more of the work for you. The Revo Max, you have to work more. But I would say the Revo Max is actually more high performance than the Machado Cado. So Wolfgang says, let's pause it for a second. Actually, it's a good way. Let's watch this really first. Like I kind of remember like the Revo Max, you when it's weaker like this, you do have to work the board more. But because it is a snowboard and the rails are real thin, it's really lively. You kind of just like pump around and it stays on top of the water really well. The Ibolic Volcanic does the Revo Max wonders because it ends up making the board a little stiffer, almost like a teeny bit floatier than regular helium or regular Ibolic. So it adds like a teeny bit extra stiffness and float to what an otherwise all helium board would probably sink into the water a teeny bit more. Now it doesn't feel like a stiffer, like torque type board by any means. Somehow it's the perfect match of the volcanic and then the foam stringer. There's no wood, so it ends up being like kind of lighter than the straight up helium or volcanic helium. And with the Revo Max shape, it's just this perfect match made. So I'm gonna need to grab something. This gonna work? That's gonna be an epic failure. Yeah, whatever. So let's see what I'll answer you in 1 second. Malachi. Wolfgang says, nice. Would that then be your high performance shortboard dims? They're Machado Cado dims? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. 510 is kind of my sweet spot for length, and then like nowadays I like between 36 and 38 volume. I'm 5'10", I'm skinny these days. I'm like 168 skinny. Get stomach problems, y'all, and it makes you skinny. So I had stomach problems for 6 months. I'm almost better, and now I'm like skinny AF. The skinniest I've been since high school, and that was a long time ago. So if you want to lose weight, get an ulcer. It helps you. Um, yeah, Wolfgang says he uses a 6.0 Chili Miami Spice, which is about 38 liters, and he can ride that great in 2 to 4 foot, 2 feet on the small side, and he is 6'2", 195. There you go. Yeah, so you're riding volume probably more appropriate for you, whereas I'm riding the volume a little bigger than I should, but I've adapted my surfing in a way where to me I appreciate the more volume. But I think Wolfgang, you're probably riding it perfectly. So for you, you could probably get the 510 Machado Cado, but I would actually maybe just get the 6.0. There's no reason, especially because your chili is kind of like the same board. Um, you'd want the Machado Cado to be like a little more of a grovelly board and probably ride that smaller stuff even better. So I go 6 foot Cado. I don't think there's an 511. Let's check really quick. I might go no glasses for a sec. I can show you guys my cool new glasses. Where are they? Be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Where are they? All right, I got them. My cool new whatever these are, orange man. So yeah, I would say for you, Wolfgang, um, yeah, I would say 6L because you're not losing much there. And for what the Machado Cado is, it's pretty much a groveler. So you don't want to size it down too much. I mean, you could actually, um, you could size it down, but like, I don't know. We ain't getting younger. I don't know. I'm all about the foam. But let's see if there's a 511 Machado Cado. There probably is now. Yeah, there is. So you could actually go 511 Wolfgang. And if you have to, you can go 510. I guess 6.0 would be like a little big for you. Be a little big. But yeah, I don't know. But the board is supposed to be like a mega growler. It shreds, but like how old are you, Wolfgang? And Malachi asks, should I get into surfing, bro? I live on Long Island. Went one time in Long Beach, New York. Shout out Long Island. Shout out Long Beach. All the homies. It's a great area. It's great. It's the best area. It's a great area. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, surfing is the best part of living these days. I mean, for most people, it's like it's funny you surf and you're like, hey, everything else in life kind of sucks. So yeah, I mean, I would say go surfing is um does your life suck? Start surfing. And if your life's sweet, then surfing will even make your life even better. But yeah, it's an amazing sport for fitness. You can do it solo. You don't have to rely on teammates. You can be a Scrooge and go solo at 6 a.m., 6 p.m. It definitely keeps you younger. You're in the ocean. There's something about that ocean water that like revitalizes you. So yeah, I would definitely go surfing. Malaki. Jackson S. Hello, Jackson S. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. He says, just want to check my audio really quick. He asks, let's see, professional checking audio in the middle of a stream. How am I sounding, y'all? Can you give me a one in the chat if I'm sounding good, or give me a 69 if I'm sounding bad? Oh God, YouTube isn't gonna like that. Um, I sound good on the AirPods, so I think I'm sounding great. My professional ZV1 Sennheiser Lav, y'all. A Sennheiser. These are like big bucks, $500 microphone. Big bucks. Big bucks. So Jackson says, would you recommend a short period mushy wind swell in the waist to shoulder high range? What would I recommend? Out of these two boards, I mean, I would say Machado Cado. Um, I would say like for most normal people, you're better off getting the Machado Cado because it's simpler. It's more of a normal board, and it actually does grovel a little better. So unless you're riding 4 to 6 like pumping surf, and you're an intermediate and above, go Machado Cado. If you need a board for 5 foot and above, and you've surfed for more than 5 years, then I would go Revo Max. That's kind of like the sum up. So you guys can just leave the stream now if you want, I guess. 'Cause I spoiled it. But yeah, for like mushier wind swell, it's like chopping all over the place and stuff. The Machado Cado. In theory, twin fins are better than um sorry, tri fins and quads are better than twin fins in choppier, mushy surf. In theory, because that center fin or the two center fins on the quad keep the board in control as it maneuvers around. The Revo Max does have a center spine thing that does help it stay aligned in choppier surf, but a back fin, an actual back fin, will hold better while you're getting bucked around through Chunder, shout out Angry Snowboarder. The back fin is going to hold you better. So there you actually want that little extra hold. So that's why it ends up being good to have the back fin. Um, Now look, that's a great example right there. Like this little turn at the end that the right there. So the Machado Cado it can't do that as good as the Revo Max because a twin fin will let you throw it like this, and as long as you hold on and know what you're doing, it will kind of like do the sweet release thing um, with less effort. The Machado Cado could do that, but it's less effort to do that on a natural twin fin. And when you're holding the Revo Max, like right here, it feels really good under the arm. It's something about the thinness of the rail, the material, it just feels really nice and premium. It has like a really good underarm feeling and a really good underfoot feeling. Just the texture of the Ibolic um, volcanic. So Wolfgang One says he's 32 years old. So he's 32. So like you're still young, but you're pretty much almost about to be old. That's like kind of what's going on there. So good luck in your transformation to the elderly stage of your life. But like, yeah, you're just getting older. So it's like you can either be the guy who's gonna paddle out the board that's too small and struggle and not get enough waves, or you can go up a teeny bit in volume and you're past your 30s, you're gonna get more waves, have more fun, not look as silly, not catching waves, not look as silly doing the Huntington hopping. Quick side note, so my friend went to a big wave spot in the Tahiti, Fiji area, and he had his regular boards that he thought were already kind of big enough. But long story short, he couldn't ride the waves, even head high good waves, because the boards wouldn't allow him to get into the waves soon enough and then go fast enough. So the more volume you have and the bigger the board in general, the faster you're going to go, the easier it's going to be to get into a wave. So once you understand that the whole point of the board isn't just to be able to like throw it around really easily, once you get the figure out how to ride the board that is a little bigger good, all the other aspects of the slightly bigger board make the not being able to throw it around as super easy, like pale in comparison, because you're going to be catching more waves, going faster. And when you're in circumstances like my friend who is in, head high, really good Tahiti type waves, that extra board is going to work better. Like, period. Um, like the only time that the smaller board will work good is if you are in that super sweet spot where it's stomach, waist to stomach high, chest high, not a crazy like um ground swell with lots of force, and it's just like it's easy to get up. The wave has a nice momentum, almost like a surf park. A wave pool is the ideal place to have a board that isn't overly volumed at all, because you don't really need it there. You don't have to paddle into the wave, you don't have to paddle around, you don't have to duck dive. You don't have to, you're just catching the wave, and then there's enough force to keep you going. Where there you actually do want less volume and you do want it to be a smaller package because the wave is so mechanical in how it works. So, all right, guys, we have 9 people watching. Smash the like. I'm a little upset. I got no likes. I'm sitting here like, what's going on? I'm yapping my face off. We got no likes. 40 minutes in, I don't got one like. It's like, so no one likes me. My mom says I'm cool. That's all I know. My mom says I'm cool. We got a like. Thank you. Thank you. It's probably you, Wolfgang. If it wasn't, then I can't believe it. We're not friends anymore. So Wolfgang says, oh, he's Wolfgang, you're getting us off topic. Can't believe it. He says, slightly unrelated question, but how cool are you? Well, I'm extremely cool, Wolfgang. Not just joking. He says, if you had more weight, so he's calling me fat. What was the biggest difference in your performance when you got lighter, if anything at all? Ooh, I got 4 likes. I got 4 likes. Guys, the dopamine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I got a nice little hit. Nice little hit there. The happy chemicals spewed everywhere. That sounded weird. Don't cancel me, YouTube. So that kind of happened. I'm like 10 to 15 pounds lighter than I was even a year ago. Um, I don't notice really like surfing wise, actually. I don't really notice. Funny when I see people, shout out Tommy Surfs. When I met Tommy Surfs in person for the real time, he actually told me that when I met him, he said, "Oh, he said you're skinnier in person." And I was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Oh, Tommy, geez, that hit me hard." But what's funny is like then I looked at like some pictures of me and I started to really realize like, oh wow, like I am skinnier, and where I lost a lot of weight was like in my face. So a lot of videos, even from a year ago, even this video, my face is like kind of thicker. And when I lose weight, it actually comes off my chin and my face a bunch. So I'm not like losing tons of weight like in my butt and thighs and like my thunder thighs. I'm actually losing it like here, I think, first, and then maybe my stomach. So, but all that to say, I haven't noticed much. I mean, I don't think 10 to 20 pounds is gonna do much. I mean, you're actually gonna adapt so much that I think it's only gonna be better if you're lighter, but you've adapted to riding the bigger board. Um, So the biggest difference I've seen is that you just feel a little better day to day, and you get more compliments about people telling you that you look skinnier in real life. But they do say the camera adds 5 pounds as well, so it could be that as well. It could be how lenses push and morph our faces into a screen. So it's a combo of the camera compression and then me actually losing some weight. So Wolfgang says he agrees. Funny enough, he can't he can throw around his groveler like a high performance board in Hawaii, but here in Cali, bro, where the surf is weak, he needs a bit less leaderage to still surf it performance wise in a performance manner. True. I mean, true. Yeah, and if you find like the sweet spot where like it's just enough volume to float you, to paddle in, to shred it, like hats off. I really like got my bigger board evolution somewhat accidentally. Like I got this random 6'4" quad, kind of retro fish from shout out Ainsley in back in the day in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And she was a rep for this company, Michael Dulce, and gave me a free board. And it was actually a really sick board. It was just like kind of big. It was a 6'4", but like I rode that thing into the ground. And that board really like upped my game of learning how to ride this bigger board and really maneuver it. And then when I lived in Venice Beach for a while, and like all I rode was my 8-foot Varga board a bunch, because it's like um Venice Beach is just closed out city. I just would ride that 8-foot Varga board, WRV Varga board. I would just like ride it straight because like it closes out so much that like you can go and get like one little hit and then you just go straight and ride white water. And I would do fins to the shore was the game, get the fins to the shore. So I just had years and years of like riding bigger boards just kind of because the waves are so crappy. Now that I'm in like better waves a lot, I just like the bigger board because you go faster. It's just kind of crazy how once you get used to it, there's not really going back. It's probably similar to anything in life. You get more used to it, it becomes more easy to do. Um, so we have a new guy, I think, Nil Knee AHM says he's from northern Germany. So we online get weak wind swell, often get weak wind swell most of the time. Should he get a sweet potato with a 2+1 fin or a Machado Cado as a groveler? Nil Knee, I would say sweet potato. I would say sweet potato all day. If you want like to really get the cheat code, go sweet potato. Give me one sec, y'all. I want to wipe this table off. I'm getting like a big goo of water. Can't get water on my standing desk. It's very precious material possession of mine. Um, yeah. So I would say sweet potato is like the better groveler than the Machado Cado. Now it depends on how you size it, because like say you size the sweet potato like super duper small, then it's not going to be. So like, tell me your height and weight, nil knee, and I'll tell you which one I think you should get. And the best fins like ever for the sweet potato and in general are the KS Endorphins 2+1 twin. Um, you see them back there in the two fish right now. Let's see. Yep, there they are. So those beauties, those have become my favorite fins ever. And they had a high contender because I love the NBS album Twin Fins, but like the KS, they kind of go in a different direction and they do more of a they're super light and like made of nothing, whereas the NBS goes heavy, super stiff. So they're pretty different. And like with a board like the Two Fish, you're just up and so light already. Having just as light as possible of a fin just helps it. I'm sure if the waves are bigger, it'd be nicer to have like the stiffer NBS fin. So I would say, yeah, the I don't know why this isn't playing. So the sweet potato, 2+1, let me know your height and weight, and we'll figure that out. I rode the 5'10" into the ground sweet potato, and I'm 5'10", 168, and like I love that thing. And it's 45 liters, I think. But like if you really want to just get like the mega groveler, there's no reason not just go for broke and go super big. Because like when with the mega groveler, like you're kind of trying to replace a longboard, and in the end, I love this shot because the Revo Max is so beautiful. Um, it's like you don't really want to really like you should have like a longboard, then a mega groveler, then kind of like a hybridy shortboard, and then your performance shortboard. Like sometimes if you try to turn your like super duper groveler into a longboard, it can work, but like the main thing is because it's not long like a longboard, you can't get in the waves really early. That's why longboards are so great. They're so long that you actually get into a wave really early and you're like up and riding before the wave breaks. On a super groveler, they don't work the same because they're not as much of a surface area lengthwise, so you're not gonna be able to get into the wave. And once you get into the wave, you still gotta kinda work it. The longboard just planes and like goes. So so more to losing my voice. About 50 minutes in, y'all. Thanks again for appreciate y'all being here. Let's check out the poll. Drop your answer in the poll too if you haven't. Which board do you think is better? Wish I could see how many votes we have. Let's see right there. Oh, 3 votes. Okay. So we need more votes in the thing to see. Right now, Reva Max is winning. So let me know what y'all think. Reva Max, Machadocado, which is better? Oh, here we got a surf babe checking me out. It was kind of like the highlight of my life. Look, I'm like shredding. She's like, oh my God, who's that guy? He's so hot and so cool. And he's shredding so hard and he's so skinny. I was like, that's the Reva Max, babe. Let's see. Let's watch. She can't look away. She can't look away. Because I'm shredding this knee-high wave so hard. Ah, she's actually looking at someone else, but let's just pretend she's looking at me. This is what's fun with Revo Max. You can kind of like start longboarding it, and then instead of a cross step, you can just hop back, or you could probably even cross step on the Revo Max. This is the 6.3. Okay, so and rail line. That's why the longboard works better because there's a long rail line. That's why the Revo Max actually grovels better than you would think at the 35-ish liters at 6.3. It's not the most liters at all. It does grovel pretty good. So Nil knee, you're 5'8", 176. Okay, and what's your skill level, Nil knee? Off the rip, I say 5'10". Sweet potato too. I mean, even go more. If you're like actually a beginner to intermediate, you could even go 6'0". I don't think you can size the sweet potato too big because unless you're riding it in huge top to bottom waves. But the sweet potato, you just want to have the mega cheat code. Get that thing as big as you want, and the worse you are, the bigger to get it. They have good resale value. She'll be fine if you do need to sell it. So Wolfgang says, "Bruh, have you checked out the album Vesper? I never rode in mid-length, but it was thinking like a 6'8" for me would be litty, be litty. The Vesper, yeah. Tommy Surf just made a video about that. Pause this and go watch my favorite YouTuber. I think this video has like a billion views too. Let's see. Here it is. So 10K. So Tommy Surf is riding the Vesper here. So you can go watch this if you want as well. Um, yeah, the Vesper's really sick. I mean, this is kind of like Margot's board from the album line, and I think it's sick. I'm just not the biggest quad guy, so like for me, I don't know how good it'll work for me, but like this is the leaders on it, so it's not even like that gargantuan. But if you do go more of a mid-length size, it would actually do well as a mid-length. Um, my thoughts on it are, I think if you like a Seaside and beyond, I think it'd be sick. I think it'd be really sick. Um, but I'm not the biggest proponent of quads just because I'm a very in the pocket surfer. So for me, quads, they aren't the most in the pocket type fin. They are a little more of a long, drawn out type fin type deal. So Nil now says he's intermediate, but he doesn't get waves very often, so every leader helps. So I would go 6 foot Nil knee, not Nil knee. We can look at it really quick here. I forget how many liters each one is, but like, ooh, see, it's all sold out because it's like a pretty sick board. Um, so you're intermediate, but you don't get waves very often. You are 5'8", 176. Yeah, you could go 6'0" or 6'2". Yeah, I mean, I would go any of these. Really, you can't go wrong. I mean, if you go like mega 6'4", it's gonna be like a big longboard. I would say if you want a little more performance, go 5'10" or 6'0". If you want it to like just be a straight up longboard, go 6'2" to 6'4". So for show, for show. And where are you based, Nilni? Because Clean Line Surf usually has them. If you're trying to support Clean Line Surf, they're a good shop. Vulcan said he's already seen the Tommy video. Sweet. He was wondering my thoughts on it. For sure. I think it's sick. Tommy was claiming it really hard. So if you usually like the boards Tom likes, I think you'd be stoked. Let's watch him for a second. And the size he went with this is like a little bigger. It's kind of like a pretty much like a mid length for him. Because Tommy rides boards like Noel Salah size, like they're teeny tiny. I mean, I don't know how he does it. But then he rode my 5'11" two fish and like shredded it. So I was like, all right, you just shred whatever board you're on, Tommy. And he is shredding this thing. And I think what the Vesper would do better than like the twin fin is like these backside turns, because I've figured out the backside turns, but it's also because the KS endorphin fins right there. Can't do backside turns. But a quad will let you do backside turns, excuse me, more, because it has like more hole than just the twin, and it doesn't kind of suffer from the the slide out during the bottom turn. You can actually pump the bottom turn harder, and because the board doesn't want to be super top to bottom anyway because of the fins, it will naturally do the S turns. But this thing does gravel really good too. So he's from Hamburg, Germany. Cool. Um, hello. I studied 3 years of German, so I have no like 30 words. Um, du ist. There you go. That's a little compliment for you. Um, Wolfgang says I should check out the Palm Springs Surf Club. It would be cool to get my thoughts on it. He's been there twice, had a lot of fun. Can I type in people's names like this? Oh, I'm blowing. I should have done this the whole time. That's sweet, dude. Yeah, I have a gift card there. And actually today I tried to plug in the gift card to see if it would work, and for some reason it wasn't working. So now I'm like getting kind of scared. It's for 200 bucks. It's pretty much like one session. Um, so I might email them and just make sure like I can still use it. Hopefully they don't like screw me. We'll see. But like I did go on the site, and like with tax, like 212 bucks for one session. I mean, that's absurd. It's too much money. It's too much money. I get every place is like that now. The cheapest you're gonna get is like 170 maybe. So it's we got to figure out these prices, but like I get it. The demand is there, the supply isn't. So people will pay those prices. But when you have access to waves every day, it does make it harder to justify. But like this board, yeah, it's a beautiful board. And yeah, the Vesper is a very, very beautiful board that we any of us would be stoked to have. Now it's almost like the I've written some of the albums that are twins, like the Twinsman, and then there's the Moonstone, which is kind of like a big Twinsman. But for some reason, for me, the way he makes the rails and stuff on the albums, like so far they haven't worked the best for me. I think it is more of a back foot rider's go-to, whereas boards like the Revo Max and the Machadocado, the Two Fish, they actually do a good amount better for front foots. We'll have 150 likes on this. Sick. They do better for front foot surfers like me because there's more volume up there, and it's how the concave works and stuff. It just works out better. So yeah, so rewatching the Revo Max footage, it's funny because like it actually does grovel really good. And like it's just such a fast, super lively board. That's the best word for it. Like the two fish, it's extremely lively underfoot. And a quick poll update, y'all. Now we're neck and neck the Kato and the Revo Mac are tied for they're tied 50% each. So that's pretty wild. We've been going for about an hour. We might wrap it up here soon. Because I don't want to go to bed too late tonight. It's kind of late where I'm at. But we'll start forming a conclusion here. Um, I think here's a good shot of the concaves and stuff because I want to show you guys the spine right there. So you can see this thing. Like think how big a tiny little I don't know if it's called the guitar pick. The other one, it's really small. I mean, it's probably only 4 to 5 times as big as this little bump. So like, and then combined with these two, he calls it the quad V. I'm pretty sure this almost acts as like a whole bunch of some kind of fin. It's called it the whole design, this whole setup, but this acts as a fin in itself, this whole bottom thing. And you have the natural fins on each side. It's almost kind of like you have steering and control here, and then you have that extra super hole on each side. I think that there's some kind that's where the magic is. And the spine, it goes really far up. It goes like almost half up the board and starts to flatten, but it stays all the way. So you can even like have your foot pretty far up the board and still do maneuvers and stuff because the board is longer. You might want to slide your feet up, kind of do like a long board hold, and then you still want to be able to kind of maneuver it, and it does that super well, really well. So Wolfgang says if he Wolfgang asks if he's never tried a fish and he wants to get his first fish or try one out, what would you recommend? Well, do you like twin fins, two fish? Twin fins, two fish. Do you like twin fins, Wolfgang? 'Cause I would say the two fish is like the best fish ever. It has quickly become maybe my favorite board ever, and it's hard to even ride. Even when I like do get the Reva Max or get the Machado, Cado, whatever board I get, um, it's gonna be hard to beat the two fish because like it really is something about it. I had to turn this fan on more. Hold on a sec. It's getting steamy. We're getting steamy in here. Um, it's like hard to beat the two fish. Now, I think for normal people, like in the general consensus, I think the seaside is actually a better fish. This is all just Firewire. I mean, you can try other ones like the RNF by Lost. I think it's called the Puddle Jumper by Lost. There's some really cool dark arts boards. There's like the Hypto Crypto, which is a pretty popular. It's not really a fish, but these days a lot of fishes are essentially like short boards in disguise. I think the classic short board with the squash tail and the normal outline is somewhat a dying board because it just won't get ridden enough at most people's normal breaks. So even the Machado Cado, in theory, it's like a fish. It just doesn't have the swallowtail. But don't get confused. Like this is gonna ride like a fish. So I would say for you, Wolfgang, seaside if you want a quad, and then two fish if you want a twin fin. That'd be my recommendation. They're easy to find. They stay nice and good shape. Go to my two fish video. You can click the link, and then your boy makes some money. So always like that. Always like making that affiliate money. Right now, is this? Oh, there's not a 510. Dang it. I mean, I could probably get away riding the 511, but the two fish is 511. So for me, like I want to do the 510. Um, but everyone's really stoked on this board. I mean, look, it has HM reviews, no non fives. Tony B loves the board, just what I'm looking for. Perfect small waves, versatile, flows pound the waves, great feel. He's happy, great design. Ship quickly, can't ride it, light as a feather. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, you watch Rob ride it and you're like, oh, well, he's amazing. Like, so here's a guy, Teddy, he got the 6'2", waist head high surf, Central Coast. He's 6'6", 235. Amazing board. Everyone's name starts with a T. Huh. Wonder if these are real reviews. No, they probably are. But like, see here, Wolfgang, that's the two fish on the left. That's like a typical fish. But see the Machado Cado, it's not that different. It just doesn't have the swallowtail, but it's pretty freaking similar. Um, a mega swallowtail will kind of just give you that classic retro fish pivot on each side. And because the two fish is a twin, it does it like super well. But I wouldn't get the two fish if you're not an intermediate who's been serving for like at least 4 years. I would get the seaside, or if you just like a stable board more so. So right now we're still at 50 cent, 50% each. Leave your vote up top, Cotto versus Revo Max. I'm spending $1,000 based on this one poll. So leave your decision. What do y'all think? Like, let me get y'all's opinion so far. Like after watching some of this and watching some surfing, what do y'all think is the better board? I mean, I think it's somewhat of a facetious statement. Like they're just different. Um, they're for different categories. They're for different conditions. There is some overlap, but I don't think there's as much as you really think because the Revo Max it can grovel well. Like all these waves, I'm riding grovelly, super grovelly boards. But the two fish would actually probably do better than this. Machado Cado would probably do a little better than this. So really, for someone like me who's been surfing for 30 years, oh pause. Here you can see the spine. That's the nose. So it actually does like stay the whole board. So the whole board, you're getting a small center fin in theory. So Wolfgang says he's gonna give the two fish a try. Well, whoop de freaking do. Whoop de freaking do. That's awesome, dude. Here, let's see if I can find my video. Where is it? There's me and Tommy Surfs. Me and my two fish in here. Oh wait, here's Tommy riding my two fish, I think. I'll show you a little bit of two fish footage. Oh, that's a twinser. Oh wait, I think Tommy's on my two fish here. Oh, no, he's on the twinser. Come on. Oh wait. Oh, I think Tommy gets a barrel. Oh yeah, here's the two fish. This was like wave of the day. I don't know, it wasn't, but like so there's the two fish. And here's Tommy on my 511 two fish, and he shreds this thing. Such just marvel. This is like a super oversized board for him, but he's so skilled that he understands how it works. And look, I've never gotten bailed at the spot, I don't think. Never. And he shows up first day and just proves me like, hey, bro, you got it. I'm getting barreled. And I said, oh damn, Tommy. Making me look bad on my home break. Um so yeah, I would say I'll leave a link for you, Wolfgang, if you want to check it out. This Clean Line Surf, so it's sold out on FireWire site, but Clean Line Surf usually has them. Guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd appreciate that as well. I'm trying to get to 3K. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Once you get to 3K, I'll be happy for about a day. And then, unfortunately, the next goal is to get into 4K. So, if you want to drop a subscribe, it's mucho apreciado. But in general, I think for me, like the conclusion is like the Machado Cado is the better board that I surf every day for these kind of waves. Now, I almost wish like the Machado Cado had the twin fin with it, but then in the end it would just be a two fish. So it's like if I'm getting the Machado Cado, why would I ride that and not the two fish? Well, the answer is when it actually gets like a little more top to bottom, a little bigger, like a little more out of control. That's where that extra fin helps. That's where a normal thrustery type board would perform better than a straight up twin fin because it's more power going on. The one problem with the two fish is when it gets bigger, it really just goes so fast that you're holding on to your life. So it can be tricky in that regard. And, you know, if I surfed waves like I surf, but it was way bigger every day, then the Revo Max would be the better board. But in an ideal world, having both the Machado Cado and the Revo Max is the best case scenario. And you ride the Cado as your daily driver, or if it's a little bigger, a little windier, not windier, just a little bigger, maybe one of those more magical shred sessions, or it's a spot that actually is known to have more power, then the Revo Max does make sense. And even though it is a twin fin, just because of the shape, the contours, the quad V, the spine, it really just excels in really good surf. So I think we're gonna probably wrap it up there in a sec, guys. I appreciate everyone for tuning in again. Please, if you haven't yet, smash the subscribe, hit the like on your way out. But this video was just kind of a fun little um talk about, two boards I've been thinking about a bunch. I had another video about, my poor mashup right here is just collecting a little too much dust. Shreds really hard. If you're in the SoCal area and you're interested in the mashup, hit me up. I hate selling stuff. So if you want to like own a celebrity's board, then now's your chance. Now's your chance. But if anyone else has any other questions, let me know, please, before I head on out of here. And this tie is killing me. If you haven't voted yet, give me a vote because right now we're neck and neck. 50%. We are tied at 50%. And I'm making my $1,000 decision based on this poll. So it's up to you, that special person out there. Um, but yeah, and there's also like plenty of other surfboard designs, manufacturers, etc. But what I kind of realized the other day is like for me, I'm pretty addicted to how these firewires are riding. Just I'm pretty much an epoxy guy now, and um, like it just has such a great get up and go that it really is amazing. Just the get up and go is like next level. And then once you get used to the get up and go and like the effortless flow with the Firewire epoxy, you ride a PU board like I did the other day. I switched to the friend. He actually had one of the he had an epoxy. It was the Black Sheep Lost. It's kind of like the RNF56, but it's a little different, and it didn't have the same magic as the Two Fish. It was their version of epoxy, carbon, whatever it is. What is Black Sheep? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's carbon kind of epoxy. Yeah, so I mean, it felt nice, but like the FireWire to me feels better and it felt better. So it's interesting how these companies they have their own versions of epoxy and carbon and all this stuff, but FireWire has been in the epoxy game like from the rip. And that's kind of that was their whole thing. So I think they're really in a good spot where they've fine tuned their whole process how the board rides. So Volcane says, "Am I serving Sunday? Should be fire." I probably am. I got a surf meeting with a buddy that we're hoping to shred. Let's go to Lurus. He'll be there at 6 a.m. Oh boy, a little earlier for me tomorrow, but enjoy, shred it. I'm probably serving tomorrow. Arvo is the plan. Um, that's sick, dude. Yeah, Lowe's will be fun. Um, I actually did get, not to dox myself, but there's maybe I was at the Trestles area the other day, and maybe I got middles pretty much solo, and that was really sick because this is on a day it should have been crowded. I was with a friend. We actually got middles to ourselves for like 2 hours, and then a few people paddled out. And it was small and kind of weak, but nice and glassy. And it's having a fun like little wave like that that's usually packed all by yourself is really cool. So it was a fun, somewhat novelty session, but super fun. Um, but yeah, Trestle is always. See, Wolfgang, you're still like kind of in the younger. I'm 38. But I'm an old soul as well, and I fully have given up paddle battling and trying to be in the position. I'm scrappy, but I don't I don't paddle battle, and I don't want to go to no break that's crowded and be paddling around people. It's like not what I'm there for anymore. So I tend to avoid kind of the main most popular breaks unless it's whatever every now and then, but it's just not. I'm not there to be paddle battling. I'm going surfing to have fun and to exercise, not to prove nothing, not to paddle little Timmy or whatever. So, and yeah, lowers is like it's just it looks like it's like Snapper Rocks from Malibu. It's just people are hungry and they want their wave and they'll do what they have to do. So the worst of people does come out a little bit, unfortunately. Um, Craig chimes in: the seaside is more drivey and quad driven. Two fish requires a bit more finesse. Oh, he's giving you a good sum up here, y'all. Listen up tight. The two fish requires more finesse. Seaside is more user friendly. He loves them both, but if he were to buy just one again, he'd now go back to the seaside. Uh, Blasphemy, blasphemy. Choose that Pokemon. Seaside. So Craig's going Seaside. You know what's funny? I've only ridden one Seaside, and it was like the five. I think it was the 510. So it was like really oversized. I think the Seaside's a board that you don't have to oversize as much because it has the quad. So it is like kind of stiffer. And I think it was Volcanic that I rode. So like the Volcanic um helium boards are actually really stiff and like some they're like what's the word? Like they won't get dents and stuff. Like they're very unporous or unpushingable. Whereas like the helium and even like I think the Ibolic volcanic does have a little more give. That's the word give. But the helium volcanic is the most, I think, stiffest. Borderline, you're getting like how a torque feels. But you're not like near there by any means. You're the closest there as possible. So if you want like the bulletproof board that actually will kind of plow through stuff more than the regular helium, that's where the volcanic does come in handy. But I rode the volcanic and it was an oversized seaside. It felt good, but it was like it's a little too boaty. I think the seaside you actually don't have to size as generous, and it won't work as generously sized as the two fish or even the Machadocado or the mashup. Seaside, that's why he made the seaside and beyond because he kind of like changed it. The seaside and beyond the seaside, they kind of aren't really that similar. The seaside is what are the dims? Like the seaside dims might not be that much different than the seaside and beyond, like the smaller ones. Yeah, so like the yeah, like so the 6-1 seaside is 46. The 7-0 seaside and beyond is 45, I believe, liters. So like they didn't just take the seaside and like supersize it. They like stretched it out and refined it. So that's why a big seaside doesn't ride exactly like a big seaside and beyond doesn't ride like a big seaside. It rides more like a normal seaside or like a longboard of sorts. But a big seaside will ride like a boaty kind of like floppy thingy. So I'd be careful there. Um, Craig says, both are so good though, just different. Helium is so good, so strong, retains their integrity. Integrity Farms for years. Yeah, I mean the Machado Cado when I de-wax it after 1 year, one wax job, it's like still brand new. So whoever gets it is gonna be stoked. But like my goal is to try to sell it for like a good price and not get like super screwed on it. So yeah, but like the helium, I think the helium still is my favorite, but I do like the Bolic volcanic a lot too. But the regular helium has the most get up and go. Oh, we have the celebrity in the chat, Migsy. Migsy saying Machado Cotto all day. 100, 100, 100. And I'm gonna check the vote, and sure enough, Migsy comes in and pushes it over. Now Machado Cotto 60%, Revo Max 40%. Machado Cotto. Or Migsy, how could you? How could you? That's almost an unfair vote. I might not even count. Oh, we're back to 60. We're back to 60. Someone voted. Someone vetoed your vote, Migsy. Now we're 50-50. There we go. I like it. I like it. So Craig's asking Migsy if he's tried the Machado Cotto. Maisie said he has, and he hates the Revo Max with all his soul, and he hopes it burns for eternity. Nilni says, which Carter fin should I pick in mushy conditions? With the 2+1? The bigger center fin. Nilni. But just so you know, when you buy the KS Endorphin twin fins, they come with both back fins. If you just buy them normally, like on Cleanline Surf or something. Let me show you. So if you click this link and make me money, Nilni. But you'll see like the KS Endorphin fins, they just come with both options. You don't have to pick unless you're buying them used and like you only get one option. But the standard practice is you'll buy the KS Endorphin fins and get both back fins. And I'm gonna say 90% of the times you're gonna use the bigger back fin. And maybe once you get the board more used to it, then you can experiment with the smaller back fin. But to me, the smaller back fin, it's too small. It don't do nothing. It don't do nothing. Um, yeah. So that'd be my recommendation. Um, yeah. Um, I should have another vote. Someone voted. Now the Machado Cado is winning 57-43. It's rigged. It's rigged. Oh, amazing. Now that you're here, we'll go on for a little bit longer. My voice is going. We need like a Migsy, some kind of Migsy notification. Like you get a special alert. I think if you have, do you guys get like alerted? Any of my top subscribers? Do y'all like get alerted when I'm live, or is it like or you just like go on YouTube and see me? I'm just curious if you have I guess you gotta click that bell. I never say that, but you gotta like click the bell. It's like 15 things you gotta do. But you should get like notified that I'm live, and that will help you not miss the live because it's always important to be. It's fun to be here in the live chat, and like because like the live streaming is going so well lately. I know I keep friggin' saying this, but like that sweet potato review, I should just friggin' do it like this and have footage playing. I mean, it's looking really good. And me yapping like blah blah because it's way easier than putting this text, friggin' editing the video. Here's what the Revo Max is shredding though. Like on this kind of day, my Machado Cado fanboys won't listen, but this like the Revo Max will do better on this day because of this extra little chop. The Revo Max will kind of like plow through this chunder a little bit. The two fish will be a little more skimmy and kind of get a little more confused, but the Revo Max will dominate this. So Migsy says, great to see me live, Professor Varga. Mark said, Mark said his vote out the Machado and he voted the Machado Cado into first. Makes him happy. The Revo Max, it wasn't for him. I think, yeah. I think it might just be like you guys are old or something. Yeah, the Revo Max is ageist or whatever, and it doesn't like old people. So if you're like above, wait, how old are you again, Mark? I know Migsy's Migsy, you're like 56, right? Or how old are you? Maybe the Revo Max is only for people under 45 or something. Migsy says, yeah, screw Migsy over bad. Migsy said he bought the Revo Max because of me, and he sold it because of Mark. Yeah, that is funny. Poor, and then Migsy hurt himself on the Revo Max after I like claimed it, and I made a whole video claiming it was the best board of 2024. These are beautiful shots though with the sun, even though this is overexposed. Oh, this is a great video. Oh, I don't know, y'all look pretty good on the Revo Max. It was a great wave. I guess I'll just like, yeah, you guys mixed it, Mark and Migsy, but I paid like too much rent the last like 2 years, so I'm like should have way more money. So we'll see if I can like get these like the people that made me pay so much money to give me my money back, and then maybe if I like somehow do that, which is impossible, maybe then I'll be rich and I could buy just both the boards because really, at the end of the day, like I don't want to sell my Twinsman, but like I can't just sit there. So the Revo Max is kind of like pretty much the Twinsman, but kind of better for me. Yeah, so maybe in Travis's near future, he owns both the Revo Max and the Machado Cotto, and then my life's complete, and then I'm happy, and then I don't need to buy any more materials, and then I can die happy, and I won't ever think about buying another thing again. I'm sure. So Mark says Migsy and him are old farts, so we don't understand notifications. Oh, but Migsy texted Mark, and then Mark said, "Yeah, he's old. Migsy's 52. Okay, you're young, Mark. Or Migsy, you're 52. Well, I guess after 50-year-old, right? Yeah. Um. Poor Migsy's knee is still busted up from his Revo Max session. Yeah, I'm really sorry, Migsy. What time is it in East Australia right now? Dang it! Now we have like Matt. Y'all smash a like on your way in. This always happens. I'm like, my voice is going. About to end the stream, and then like a billion people come in and ready to yap my head off. Um, yeah, right now the poll is we're actually getting good participation. Machado Cotto is still winning, so if you haven't voted yet, go up there, click Revo Max. Let's get the Revo Max back in the standing because y'all be hating. Y'all be let's watch me ride the Revo Max more. Look how beautiful it is. The silhouette. Oh, this is back when I was like kind of fat. Like so you can kind of see I'm like fat. And then you look at me now and I'm skinny. See? Fat, skinny. Um, yeah, so in I keep saying in the end, but it's gonna keep going, I guess. Machado Cotto is like for normal people, normal old people like Migsy, it's the better board, hands down. If you're like younger or you want a step up board, or like you want to be cool and like you're under 39, you're under 43, Revo Max, or the Revo Max has a six spot in your quiver if you go like a big version. If you go because if y'all don't, y'all probably you probably know, but let's. The Revo Max does have like bigger sizes, and once you get into the bigger sizes, oh look, there. Ooh, someone left a four. Probably Migsy. Ooh, look, this guy says what we said. He likes a board, but he would choose another for smaller, softer ways. It is thinner, so it needs more push. Maybe a waist high and above to make it zing. Chef's kiss on the what he just said. Like it's almost like a Seaside and Beyond, where it like does need like a little bit of a wave. I mean, the Seaside Beyond is way more volume, so but it's not as grovelly as a groveler. That's why they don't even have it in their groveler section. But if you size this thing up a lot, and the 6.3 is like super sold out because that's probably the best one I think. But if you size it up to 7.0, that's 53 liters, and at that point, that's 8 more liters than the Seaside Beyond. Even the 6.9, which is kind of like the 6.8 Seaside Beyond, that's even more liters. So when you go bigger on this board and you ride it as it kind of maybe is supposed to be ridden, um, this actually like kind of does it as good as say a bigger Machado Cotto or like a small longboard or mid length. So really, it's like kind of like the Reba Max is somewhat more of a mid length, unless you go these two sizes, maybe even the 6.6 if you're like a really big guy. Then it becomes a more of a performancey hybrid short board. So sizing makes a big difference on how the Revo Max is going to sit in your quiver. I don't know why I'm getting so sore right now. I think I'm like angled in a weird way. Let me do this maybe. Oh, there we go. That might help. So Migsy says it's 4:20 Sydney time. Uh oh, is that supposed to be like a whatever the word is? Like you're making a joke or something? Migsy says I don't know fat. Gave me a winky face. We gotta keep it PG, Migsy. No lonely fans here. Mark said he has the 6.6 Revo Max. Oh wait, Mark did have it. He had the 6.6 Revo Max with similar volume for a step up for me, but maybe I needed to try either a smaller one or a way bigger one. Yeah, for sure. That's funny, Mark. You just said what I just said here, because yeah, exactly. Like for most people, like the bigger Revo Max is the move, and for young guns, you're young, full of the word I can't say. Then the smaller version is better because you're gonna like just shortboard shred it. Oh, but the Migsy did keep the fins like Mark did, so the fins are awesome. So at least there you go. You got to win out of it, and that's what's funny is like sometimes in life, you get devices, and one part of the device ends up working great. Uh, Long story short, I bought like this Ronin gimbal like 7 years ago. This big gimbal. It was like one of the first like real sick gimbals you use with the A7 III, but it was like too cumbersome. It was heavy. I didn't really use it that much, but I ended up keeping the bottom little handle thingy. Show you guys this thing, and this thing is like a prized possession. And this literally was just the bottom of the whole big gimbal. So this probably costs, I don't know, 25, 30 bucks. But just like y'all bought the Revo Max and you kind of got burned, but at least you got the fins. I bought the gimbal and I kind of got burned, but at least I have this thing. And this thing I use all the freaking time. So it's funny how sometimes you have to like buy these crazy purchases and then you realize you learn a lesson and then at least you can get like a smidgen of use, of long-term use out of a part of it. Then I say it's not a complete failure. Unless you injure yourself like Migsy did, then it kind of did fail, but we don't have to talk about that, I guess. Um, so Migsy says to Craig, oh wait, I missed. Oh, Craig said, Migsy, I meant have you surfed both Kato? Have you surfed both Kato and Seaside? It looks sick. It'll plane like the Seaside, but out pivot the Seaside. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but for me, I mean, I've had more limited time on the Seaside, but yeah, the Machado Cado, like to me, is I would pick it any day over the Seaside, pretty much because of the fin setup, but also the pivoting ability. But you're right, Craig, I do have to try the Seaside smaller. Craig said it's brilliant, and you got to keep the Seaside small, and I do agree. I think it's because it's one of Rob's earlier boards, and he was starting his trend of like supersizing them and shrinking them. But as he's gotten better at shaping, he's refined them, and now like his newer boards, the tails and the noses are very thin. The Seaside has a thicker tail, thicker nose, and it does have a wider nose, but it's like a little less thinned out and precise. So it's in his like evolution of shaping surfboards, like I think that's where like he hit the perfect sweet spot, and then he just refined that. But before that, that was like the first board that really like upped the ante and almost like went for broke and what that board is was trying to be. Yeah. So Migsy says he's Craig's obsessed with it though. But the Riva Max fins are interesting, Mark says, because they're between a keel and an upright. And it does give another option. Yeah, true. Oh, guys, in the poll, we're back on 50-50. We're back on to 50% to 50%. What a great, this is great. Great stuff. I love it. Love it. That's great. Yeah, I think they're called the Power Max, or they are Tomo Max Keel. And up cramping. And yeah, these are amazing. I think he says right here they're a mix between trim of a keel with the response of a twin. Tight radius turns and tough and clean control across the face. It's the ultimate twin keel shape. Crafted from a blend of traditional keel template and performance twins. Yeah, so it's like taking Rob's like red keel twin and mixing it with the normal like power FCS type fin. I think it's called the power fin. Um, and like combine them a little bit because you can see the shape of it. You can see in the shape, it kind of has like this keel back and the keel like push back, but then it does stay somewhat upright and it doesn't like go too crazy with it. So it's kind of that perfect blend. Um, Craig says yes, the quad fins work really well with it. He tried other general quads, reactors, reformers, firewires, etc. Just nowhere near as electric and drivey. True, true. Oh, Mark says he prefers the Kato over the Seaside. He spent a lot of time on the Seaside, and the speed is addictive, but he prefers a little more performance in the Kato. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, man, that's I would probably say the same. Like the Seaside to me, again, in my limited time riding it, very fast, but it doesn't want to do like these little chit chat, top like flick flacks. Whereas the Machado Cado wants to do the little flick flacks a little more. The flick flacks. But yeah, what main board have you been riding lately, Mark and Migsy? If you're in the water again, Migsy, I can't remember if you're back in, if you're back to being in injured land. Migsy says he's got the large Tomo. They work for him. Okay, nice. I'm pretty sure I had the mediums. I was trying to remember the other day, but I'm pretty sure I had the mediums. So I go mediums again. I think I say it in here. I think I say it in here. Oh, I think you can see the board probably. It's the mediums, I'm pretty sure. Because I remember like thinking like, oh, I kind of want the larges, but then riding the mediums, I'm like, oh, this is actually perfect. So I think that's just a weight difference, makes it because you're a little heavier than me. But when in doubt, you can go bigger on the twin fins because they're twins. So yeah. Dang. So Miggy says he's not serving yet. Few months back injury. Dang, I'm really sorry to hear that, Miggy. Keep resting up and I hope you get better. That stinks. Ooh, Miggy says seaside fins on the mashup is a rocket. I wouldn't mind trying that. I mean, I did ride quads on the on the mashup once, and it did feel good. Did feel good. So, there's a chance that I, give it its 15th chance back there, but I don't feel like buying a set of quads because again, I don't seem to really like them as much. And I did have that 164 mega fish with the quad that really ended up being like a great favorite board. But I think for me, I just prefer the pivot of the try and even the twin maneuverability flow. So, but all right, guys, you know what? We're about at an hour 40, and I think we're gonna wrap it up here because again, my voice is about gone, and I gotta go on my nightly walk. It's a new thing is I do a nightly walk for the stomach to help it digest, and it's actually been helping a lot. So, pro tip, and how do my glasses look, y'all? I kind of look cool actually. Yeah, I kind of look cool. Um, Pro tip, walk after dinner is the move. At some point, it's going to walk, and it just helps heaps. Apple cider vinegar, amazing. Thanks again last time for that. We had like a little talk about the stomach. Got the probiotics. They've been helping a lot, I reckon. Apple cider vinegar, um, kombucha, Yeah, it's been actually the last 2 weeks have been the best weeks in like 6 months, so it's been great. I had, like, a little hiccup yesterday, but it had been so long I've been doing well that I was just, like, super grateful to be doing well for a while, so thanks again, Miggsy, for your help with that, and, I'm on a good roll. So, apple cider vinegar in the AMs is definitely a go-to. Just 15 milliliters with 8 ounces of water every morning and a straw, because apple cider can ruin your teeth. That's the ultimate life hack for longevity and living. Like, you can be like a spiritual guru. So Maisie says my live streams get him stoked, and he's stoked to see Mark in the chat. And now more people came in. Geez, about to leave, but I'm glad y'all are here. If you just came in, let me know which board is better, guys. We're trying to get a winner before the thing ends, and now there's only it's tied 50% to 50%. So we need to end the vote, and I will buy that board. Let's cross my fingers. Um, Maisie adds sauerkraut. Yeah, sauerkraut. I'm not a big sauerkraut guy, but anything fermented. Um, KT kombucha, like the guava one, is very nice, very nice. It's something about it. It tastes like an IPA, so that's been like my little night vice. Is this KT kombucha guava? It's really good. It's really good. Maybe saying a small pinch of bicarbonate soda, yeah, or even baking soda. You're right. Um, yeah, I was doing that for a while. It was a little bit of baking soda in the coffee. I've stopped that. Actually, another big thing for your stomach. I've switched to cold brew and or iced lattes, like strictly, and that seems to have helped a lot. Um, Something about the even making brewed hot coffee and then putting it iced kind of was messing my stomach up, but since switching to the cold brew and even the iced lattes doesn't seem to affect it that much, that's been like a total game changer. So, people with stomach stuff and digestive issues, and if you run into that, just try to stay calm and do stuff, and then once you figure out what's working, stick to that for a while and just praise to whatever God you believe in, because it can get kind of rough. But there is a internet of people out there that are in a similar position, so you can find solace. Is that a word? Solace in having other people with a similar experience, so you're not alone. Miggsy said he's super stoked he's found my channel. Thank you, Miggsy, and I appreciate you, man, for sure, and the whole gang. Mark saying, hey, Mark, yeah, hey, Mark. That's from the door. What's it called? The room. Hey, Mark. Yeah, Mashup is really sensitive to fins. He usually runs his bamboo, Machado bamboo twin and trailer. Can't say it again. Trailer, or his Firewire Dan Man Large try. I hear the Dan Man Larges are really good. He tried a reactor quad in a few days and it was horrible. Miggsy says Machado Cado all day, and damn, you're right, Miggsy. It just came out the winner. Oh no. I want the Revo Max. All right, Miggsy, you got your way. You got your way. Freaking stupid Machado Cado. I guess I'll buy that board. They're all sold out though. Um, so Craig's saying, but yeah, and head-eye drainers, Craig says the same quad setup was insane. So mashup is a sensitive stick. 100% agree. It's tic-tacky. It's like an edgy teenager. You never know what you're gonna get. Fins make a huge difference in it. And to me, because it has the Dan Man DNA, it's not as front foot friendly as Rob's other boards. Dildo's in the chat. Dildo, hello, sir. Best username on the internet. He asks, which would be a better pipe board between these two? With the Revo Max, 100%. Revo Max with like shred pipe. Like 6.6 Revo Max would be epic at pipe. Now, once it starts getting like really crazy out there, I mean, a PU board I think might be the ultimate. one, but I'm pretty sure like Kelly's riding these epoxy. I actually don't know if Kelly's riding like the Firewire epoxy type boards and all these waves and stuff. I think he is. So I think they figured it out where now you can ride like the Ibolic Volcanic or the Ibolic in big waves. It's not that bad. But yeah, Revo Max would be sick in like 8 to 10 foot pipeline for sure. Dildo gave me a drooly smiley face guy. Thank you, sir. Take that as a compliment. Mark says, hey Craig, yeah, I find the tail on the mashup really loose, tic tacky. So the quads feel really nice because they probably add a little bit of stability to it. Um, Someone vote for Revo Max, please, so I can get the Revo Max. But yeah, right now the Machado Cato's winning. Um, the only other fins Mark's tried on it was a two plus on the mashup was a 2+1 on a smaller day, and it felt like it lost a lot of speed. True, true. 2+1, I'll be honest, I'm not as sold as most people on the 2+1. I've yet to find a 2+1 that, like, for me, really works really good. It's almost like losing the speed, and it doesn't give you, like, the twin fin flickability, so it's in this weird spot where it's like, I don't know. I almost prefer, like, just in general, when it's a 2+1 that isn't as pronounced, like the AM2s, where the back fin is smaller, but just by a smidgen. When the back fin is, like, a lot smaller, I just haven't still figured out, like, the perfect setup for that yet. So, just experimentation, but that's my brief thoughts on like, the 2+1 in general. Migsy says, "Travis, buy the Kato because me and Mark and sell because of Tomo." True. I mean, I do wanna fit in. Um, every day I'll check on, like, OfferUp and websites, like, if it's out. I did see a 6'3" Revo Max the other day, but I think my new plan is to, like, sell the Mastiff first, wait, and then get it. And again, because the two fish back there is, like, it's just so magical, like, even when I get either of these boards, I still think the two fish is gonna be the best, like, in unless it's head high and bigger and top to bottom, the two fish, I think is better than Machado Cado. I have to get the Machado Cado and really ride into the ground, but I remember when I was riding it a bunch with the two fish also, it just had, like, a little bit too much hold because I was so addicted to the two fish flow. Craig says, "Hey, Mark. Yeah, maybe I think maybe the reactors are just too upright and driverless and are better when it's bigger surf. He uses Firewire sides with SHITTY glass flex reformer rears. That's sick. The glass flex fins. I used to be a big fan. Um, he liked it really quick in smaller surfs. Yeah, I used to actually like the plastic MG5s and like the plastic fins because they were actually like flickable and just like kind of really playful. So I almost preferred that flex and just like plasticness of the cheap fins for like a long time until I found the AM2s. But even those I would always buy in just the glass flex material. Because even when I tried like a more epoxy flex and they weren't doing as much for me. And in the end, I almost preferred like that opaque clear color glass flex FCS in the Almeric 3 or 2 template, or 1 or 2 template. Can't remember the FCS, the smaller one. Craig says, weirdly, they gave the board zing as quad rears and weak waves. I found them sitting around for decades and threw them in. Yeah, it's funny, like these little plastically fins, like they don't. That's what's funny about fins. It's like there's so many different options, but like for so long, I just rode the cheapest fins and never felt compromised. These days, I'm a little different, right? I really do feel there is a difference, but maybe the technology has caught up. Maybe I've gotten sucked into the marketing. Um, but I remember Kelly's fins, which essentially aren't that different than the KS ones back there. I never really liked his main fin back in the day. It was like had the circle as the 2+1 or something, Kelly fin. And yeah, and it was like too round, not enough pivot in it, or it wasn't upright enough. I never liked it. So I didn't think I was gonna like the KS endorphin fins, but for some reason I love them. So it might be the material, which they are kind of carbony and they're really light, but somehow the shape is really nice. He seemed to have he made it a little refined, a little more of a tip, but he still has the circle on the fin. That's kind of the Kelly signature. Craig sold all his reactors. They're gone. Yeah, which one did I like? Can't remember. I think I had the can't remember which one I had. But yeah, there's like 4 different FCS ones, right? Can't remember. All right, guys. Well, here we'll do this. We'll do it. We'll go another 10 minutes, and then I gotta go on my nightly walk. But get your last questions in. If you haven't yet, smash a like, hit subscribe. Go watch my videos. I'm gonna drop the no, I'm not gonna drop nothing. If you want to support me, I have links in my channels. If you buy stuff, put money in my pocket. Much appreciated. Let me know any last thoughts, and we'll wrap up the stream. What is going on here? Just checking something. Oh no, what is this? So Craig's asking, can anyone here rate the Kato versus the Seaside? Kato versus Seaside. Okay. Is the Kato as good as everyone says? I mean, Craig, if you're thinking about pulling the trigger, um, like to me, like I mean, because you can, I guess the Kato only has 3 fins. Like you can ride the. I think the Machado Kato is a better board. I think it's a more refined version of the Seaside. It's everything he's learned in what these boards are. But like I think the Kato is a better board. I think it's newer. It's pretty much like a Seaside, but he refined it. Um, have having ridden both, it was night and day. Like I like the Machado Kato a lot better. It wasn't that much less oversized than the oh look the oh my poll's ending in 4 or the oh the sponsor live stream. If any of you guys are rich, you can leave me a super chat and you are the official sponsor live stream shout out. Only 4 minutes left. We're on the stream live. So if you want to empty those pockets, there's 4 minutes to get the official live stream sponsor. But um I think it is better, but if you are like kind of more of a quad type guy, that just might be it. Is like you prefer the quad. So it's like all this stuff, I always say this, but it's like it's all really subjective. Like it's all super personable. What I like the most, you guys might hate. What you love, I might hate. I'm definitely not the I'm not Noel Salas in terms of like how he would suggest volume for you is he would say go on the volume calculator and use that like to the nth degree. Like he uses proper even like Tommy Surfs kind of uses a more proper volume. I like to go way more volume, almost kind of crazy, but that's just how I surf. And I think if you're like more of a power surfer, it's only going to help your surfing in the end. Um, Again, whatever makes you catch more waves, you have more fun. That's that's what it is. So it's not really like an ego thing. It's just a like it's like math or something. It just makes more sense. More board, more waves, more fun. Mark says he prefers the Kato. He hasn't ridden the Seaside since he got the Kato. He tried two sizes of Seaside, and he agrees you don't want to overvolume the Seaside. The slightly bigger one was a boat, for sure, for sure. And that's what's funny is I remember like back then before we had all these other boards, because a lot of these boards came out like the last 3 years. Before that, the Seaside was top dog, and like the people would always warn to not oversize the Seaside. And after riding the 510, which I think is like 41 liters or something or 38, um, yeah, I agree. Like you don't want to oversize the Seaside because just how it was crafted, it's pretty much like a two fish, but I think it's actually more volume. Yeah, it is. Like the 511 two fish is 38 liters. The 511 Seaside is 41 liters. The 510 sweet potato is 40-ish liters. So like the Seaside is almost kind of like a sweet potato, but it's actually gonna be like not as mega grovelly because it's not really what it's intended for. It's intended to actually be kind of high performance, but the way Rob sized it, he kind of like went super Rob on it. Where I mean, like he had it very small and for like a typical surfer. And usually surfers are skinny, maybe they're tall, but they're usually skinny and light on their feet. So for a typical surfer, you can go like, 5.5 or something. The 5.5 Seaside is still 31.5 liters. So yeah. Maisie says, as a quad kind of guy, I would love to see the Kato as a 5 pin set for sure. Mark says he the 5.8 and the 5.10 was way too big, and he's 220 to 225 in my measurements. Kato and Seaside not been setups. Feels like they are missing their true potential. Yeah, good point, Migsy. I mean, I appreciate them not having the 5 fins in every single board because then when they do that, there is some compromise. Like I don't mind Rob like going the route of only having three or four or like kind of forcing you, which is kind of he's actually done that on a lot of boards besides the groove. But most companies will do the 5 fins just so they can sell more boards. But I think what Rob was really going for is like he feels this is the right fin setup and it makes the board do what it's supposed to do. So if you ride a different fin setup, you're actually missing out. Now again, they probably sell more boards of every board at the 5 fins, but I think they're actually kind of staying more true and more core by not giving you that and forcing you to ride the board as it's supposed to be ridden. Which is why too I really like when these twin fins only have 2 fin slots because it like really shows you what they are, and as long as you stick with it, it'll work out. Like you guys should have stuck with the REVO Max. Maisie says, um, oh, Maisie's asking Mark, what do you reckons, mate? All right, guys, we have about 2 minutes left. Get your last votes in, get your likes, get your questions. 2 hours. We did it. We did it. Great live stream. I appreciate everyone. We crushed it. Another one in the books. For some reason I'm standing very awkwardly and my back's about to break. I'm getting excited for my nightly walk. Mark Sands, yeah, Maisie, you're right. Um, love to have the Seaside with the center fin. It's super fast, but it lacks pivot. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the quad in general, it just lacks the pivot because how is it supposed to pivot off two side fins? It's like it's almost harder to pivot than a twin fin because there's even more fin on one side. So it's like even more stable and more stiff to not pivot. Where a twin fin, you just got to kind of get used to it kind of sliding a little bit. as you pivot, and the KSs do the pivoting magically. So Mark says he's being crazy, and he says he would vote down the Revo Max on the poll if he could. All right, Mark, I gotta ban you. Let's see. Report, remove, put user in timeout. Which one do I want to use? Um, Here, Mark, let's give you a warning. Let's give you a verbal warning. If you do it again, I'm gonna have to put you in timeout. Yeah, put user in timeout. So you're on thin ice, Mark. You're on thin ice here. Oh wow! And then Migsy, I'm putting poor Migsy in the poorhouse. He says he bought the Kato because of my second video review, Cincy Travis. And then he gives me a great point of view and analysis mark up to Mark and a green check mark. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Hearts, things everywhere. And Mark saying he will not be silenced. He will not be silenced. Okay. Hey, I like it. Hey, this is a safe zone. This is a safe zone. This is a safe zone. I will not silence y'all. Oh, what? It was me. Hold on one sec. I'm getting a weird message from LinkedIn. What are you talking about, LinkedIn? LinkedIn saying that someone signed into my account. It was me. It was me. Don't worry, LinkedIn. It was me. I love it, Mark. Mark will not be silenced. Hey, I love it. I love it. This is safe zone, safe space. You're allowed to speak freely amongst yourselves. But all right, guys, we did it. Hit 2 hours. I still have a somewhat of my voice left. The final poll, Machado Cotto wins by a small hair. So you could be seeing that in a future video. First, I got to sell the old Mashie, but I think that is the right move. And I appreciate everyone for tuning in to another Hero's Journey live stream. This one was the Machado Cotto versus the Revo Max, and y'all have spoken. The Machado Cotto is the better surfboard. Case closed. Case closed. But Migsy, Mark, Dildo, all the regulars, Nilna, Craig, shout out Mike Raven, shout out Tommy Surfs, Vulcan, Wolfgang, all y'all. Thank you guys so much for being here. Replay gang, shout out. Thanks for watching it. Check out the affiliate links. Much appreciated. We out of here. Till next time, y'all. Peace.